MAME phase.
Welcome to some more bad games in MAME. That's the theme for this second part of the bad games part of the Just June streams. I did the first part of bad games for the previous stream and thought, you know what, I've got this list in mind. I may as well, do the next part, continuing on with the bad games, the bad arcade games. I've not really researched the home games all that much yet. But we'll be looking at some more bad arcade games in this part. So there's a few people in the chat already. We have regulars Cow, the Aaargh, and Aussie Guy. So welcome to you all. I hope you're doing well. I'm starting a bit earlier than usual this week, so it's probably catching a few people out by surprise, to be honest. But I guess that's okay, isn't it? I mean, I want to be getting on with some other streams later. My friends at Enigmatic Play will be streaming on Twitch at about 8:30, so I'm already cutting into sort of my watch time for that. So we'll see. I've just decided, I'll start now with this one. But anyway, the first game is one I put on the little preview image for the stream. And that is Lady Frog by Mondial Games. And if you've been watching the attract mode so far, you'll notice it doesn't really do much to show itself off. It's got this hideous title screen. Let's just switch views. Let's go for my vertical view. And let's turn the volume back up. Not that we want to. And let's full screen it. And hey, R09. Now, one thing I have noticed with this driver immediately is it looks like it should be using a low resolution. I'm not sure. There's always a black bar on the right hand side, which is the bottom of the screen, although the resolution is already 256 by 224, but it kind of suggests it should be about 200, which is quite a non-standard resolution. I don't know. Otherwise, you can't go into that area of the screen. There's black bars on that area of the screen, and there's garbage at times, but I don't know what the PC output. Anyway, oh, hey, R09 as well, and hey, Thomas. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything is going, good. Yep. So that's what I mean. You know what I mean. Everything is good. I hope everything is good for you. And same for R09, Cow, Aussie Guy, the Aaargh, and everybody else who might be lurking. Anyway, from just the attract mode, you can see this Frogger has a bit of a twist with the logs. I don't know if that's intentional or if the person that made this just never played Frogger. Also, the font is a Taito font. The hardware seems to be cloned from Taito hardware. I don't know who Mondial Games were, but they're quite an ugly game. Now you can jump along this. No, you can jump all over this vehicle here, but that you can't even touch this one there. Touch that one there, and you die. Consistency. Hey Moboma, thank you, welcome. Hope you're doing well, and it's definitely barbecue weather. I'm hoping we can organise another one around here at some point when people decide they want another one. But yeah, don't jump on the moving one, even if it's not moving, because it'll kill you. And also, don't jump on the logs, as the attract mode showed. Look, you jump in the water on this one, the logs kill you. Basically, if it moves, it kills you. Yes, they did, I believe. It's on the same hardware. I was going to look at that one next, actually, because it's just as bad as the guy, Touche Me. Touche Me is, however, an adult game. It's not listed in catver.ini as an adult game, but it is an adult game. It has nudity after about 6 levels. So, anyway, let's just reset so I've got a full quota of lives. The DOS emulator successfully runs June now. That's a good milestone, isn't it, June? I think I'm more familiar with June 2 than the original, but it's a well-remembered series. It's good to see more DOS emulators and emulators for that kind of thing. DOSBox is obviously the famous one, but you've got other PC emulators that run Windows these days. Oh. But yeah, you can even see in the background of the levels where it looks like it needs sort of maybe the 24 pixels cutting off the right hand side, because you can't jump past this point, and everything past that point is garbage. Same with the gate at the top. So I don't know, just 200 high seems like an odd resolution to me. That log didn't even get me. Yes, the logs kill you in this, the Aaargh. I suppose it's a quick way to get a credit off somebody without them realising. It's like, what happened? Because, yeah, it's not necessarily natural. If you've played Frogger and you come into this, Lady Frog, and suddenly you find the logs kill you, it's a bit off-putting. I mean, once you know, you know. But it's the same with those diggers. The one that moves kills you. The one that doesn't, you can just jump all over. It's a bad game. That's why it's on the stream. This is from 1990, by the way, according to the title screen. But yeah, Touche Me has a very similar art style to the ugly title screen art of this. And it's the same hardware type. So, as you say, it would appear to be the same developer, just uncredited. This frog has actual red blood. So this is an adult rated frog. You are supposed to jump on the logs in regular Frogger, Thomas, but as I said, whoever programmed this had either never played Frogger or really just wanted to mess with the player. There we go. So you don't have to do the door on the right, because the door on the right is technically just garbage. Now you get a bonus stage where you shoot hearts. Which of course is thrilling and exactly what you'd expect. Now this game doesn't seem to have any adult content, which is surprising, especially when you've got like bonus rounds with hearts. So I don't know if there's an undumped version out there that does have adult content. You know, like Touche Me has adult content. But this version does not appear to, at least best I can tell. Legally distinct. Now we are hopping up a building, because this is what frogs do, and we're just avoiding everything, including the flies, or whatever they are. Don't touch them. I mean, now it makes even less sense than it did before. And we're jumping into windows, because, you know, this is exactly what you see frogs doing all the time, isn't it? Jumping up the side of buildings while, you know, sports balls fly across the screen and Coke cans. This doesn't even have the distinction of different layers like the road and the river. This is just things to avoid while you go up the screen. It's even less in depth than the previous level. So yep, they cloned Taito's hardware and wrote a terrible game. And I think I'm probably going to struggle to say much more about this one, because this is what it is. I think it just repeats these two stages as well. I don't think there's anything else to it. So if you really want a bad version of Frogger, here is a bad version of Frogger. With some of the ugliest artwork you're ever going to see. And some really bad collision detection too. That doesn't help it. Probably shouldn't have started this one. Now there is also a return of Lady Frog, but that was by Microhard, and that is a clone of Splash. It's hacked up from the Splash code. It's also like many Microhard games, that one is heavily protected. I don't think it's related in any way to this game, apart from being called, you know, Return of Lady Frog. I don't think Microhard and Mondial were the same company. But yes. Terrible sound effects, terrible game logic, terrible graphics, terrible collision. I mean, is there anything good about this? I mean, it's Frogger-ish. You know, even with the benefit of this added visible area that I'm probably not supposed to see, I'm still jumping straight into things. I'm actually better at the real Frogger, honest. I mean, I'm not just making excuses because I'm bad at Frogger. How many frogs are going to be killed today? This is the question. Frogs in the chat, please. If you've got a guess. I mean, we're probably on about 40 already, aren't we? How many credits will I put in a terrible Frogger clone? I don't know. Yes, this would have been the hottest franchise on the market. But this was 1990. I mean, when did Frogger come out? Early 80s? I'm jumping on that thing every time. So yes, if you like frogs, it's probably best you look away. You just don't think about how many frogs are dying here. That's nowhere near that. The collision is just that bad. I mean, and I know a lot of these deaths are my own fault entirely, but the ones that aren't, the collision is just doing me no favours. Too many frogs. Oh look, we've got a different bonus stage with a different set of graphics. Can we speed through it? Yes, we can. I don't care about the bonus stage. Oh look, we've got another stage like just like the first stage, but with faster cars. And there's no work vehicles on this one. So it is a bit different, but it's still just, you know, Froggle again. But with the combination of the faster cars and the awful collision, it's now even more unplayable. So, I wonder how many arcades had this game installed. I wonder how long it would have stayed installed for. Yes, it's definitely faster than Final Lap, and in this case the cars are winning too. In Final Lap the cars never win. But then again, the cars aren't against frogs in Final Lap, are they? Game of Glitch. A Game Glitcher 4. This is Lady Frog. 1990 Mondial Games. And I've not even got to the logs on. The logs still kill you on this level. It's not swapped it around so the logs don't kill you. But you do have to get to them first. Now, you will notice the traffic is just the same things going across the screen, so it's actually more predictable in Frogger, so you might stand a chance if you plan it, but... Final lap for frogs. These frogs aren't even managing a single lap. You can't even hop quickly, there's a delay in the keys. You know, in Frog you can hit the key really quickly and actually jump quite fast. In this you've got to wait for the animations that are quite sticky to complete. So yes, this is definitely one of the worst arcade games in MAME. Let's not continue. Let's go back to the first level, just so that anybody joining late can see the wonders of the game logic here. This doesn't kill you, because it doesn't move, it's part of the background. That kills you, because it's not part of the background. The water does not kill you. The logs kill you. Lady Frog. Can I stop playing this one now? I really don't want to play this anymore. It's not fun. Let's just walk up, jump around in circles. Oh, I better cross the river, aren't I? Now, I don't think there are even any flies or anything else appear as bonus items. You know, it's just the absolute minimum effort Frogger. You're not picking up flies to get bonus points. You're not jumping into the gates where the flies are to get bonus points. I mean, I'm amazed they've got this this little vehicle here that moves backwards and forwards rather than just something that's continually going across the screen. That is about the most effort that's been put in anywhere in this game. I'm probably not going to play it any longer, Cal. I'm probably just going to, you know, jump into this and go, oh dear, my frog died. Oh dear, I have a life left. See, I thought I jumped on that thing that time, but... no, I've not done any of Kyle's stuff yet, Aussie guy. I might look at Alpha 1 or something like that, because that's especially bad. Other than that, Kyle's stuff is not that interesting. I mean, I've looked at Master of Kin before, but we really need the colour prom stump from it, because it just looks even worse than it should look without the proper colour prom. The Boulder Dash games are just meh. Dark Tower I don't mind. The skiing thing, Ski Max, that's a bit of a mess. I don't know. His games are unremarkable and dull and generally bad, but I don't know. I'm never that inclined to play them. Right, so it was mentioned that Mondial Games likely also did this one. Same hardware. Same awful style of art you can see here. But yeah. Now, as I say, this one is an adult game, so I can't really play. I mean, it says shocking striptease here, George Rabbit and Jessie, and yes, it is a striptease game. But essentially, the first levels are just bad Pac-Man with a terrible music loop. And again, it doesn't really use that part of the screen, although you do walk across it, so I really don't know what's going on with the resolution in these games. Are they just that badly programmed? Does the PCB not output that area? I mean, when you're dealing with bad games, anything is possible. And the AI on this just basically homes in you and moves around randomly. It's not great. Yeah, these two title screens are clearly done by the same artists. That's how you can really tell that they're both from the same company. But yeah, it's just now you don't have to pick all the dots. You have to clear. It's like paint roller, where crush roller, where you have to paint the maze. And the enemy stun thing doesn't last for long. You press the help button, and they pause for a brief second. The worst part is the clone of this is harder. The clone of this, the enemy's really homing on you quickly. But yeah, this is. Hey Stephen, and okay, I would like to thank Stephen who donated £25 via PayPal off stream the other day. So that has helped. That has bought some drinks for the stream. I've been picking up some rums and the like to try. So you know what, I might do a pirate themed stream in a bit. Not today, but in a bit. But yes, thank you to Stephen for donating the £25 via PayPal. Unfortunately, because it's PayPal, you don't get the big pop-up alert here, but at the same time, because it's PayPal, YouTube aren't taking their cut, so I get the full amount rather than about half of it, because YouTube decide, oh, we put a flashy alert on the chat, so we're entitled to half your money. A cow theme stream. You'd have to give me a full list of cow games to play cow, apart from just hard driving. So yeah, we get a cutscene in this one. This one's still got clothes on. But you get the idea. It's just another very generic, very bad game from the same developer as Lady Frog. And the fact this one does have the adult content does make me wonder again if Lady Frog, there might be a version out there with adult content, especially because it's got the hearts on the bonus stages and everything else. It almost feels like that bonus stage background on it should be an adult image rather than a landscape. And sometimes multiple versions of these games do exist for different markets. And this version of this game, which is not listed in catvo.ne as adult, and it really is adult. That's what I just said. So again, I'm not going to play this one too long because it will get me into trouble with YouTube if I clear too many stages of it. Yes, both these games do. They feel like they should be 200 pixels high, but then say you do move in the area that you can't see, and you can probably die in that area. And then the continue screen here, if you chop off like all the pixels on the side, you'll lose the continue screen text. So I don't know. It's odd. I mean, maybe they're just really lazy art. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they configure it differently. I don't know. I've never played this on a PCB. But yeah, I'm not going to play any more of that because it does turn into an adult adult game, and I don't want that on the stream. Happy Stephen Kuma's Day of Bug Fix Glory. Are you talking about the quartet fix there, Bob? I believe I saw that merged. I actually thought that maybe Sega would just swap the controls between the versions based on feedback, but the fix went in, and that's all good. So yes, thank you for that too, Stephen. And if it turns out that Sega did just swap the controls and somebody goes, oh no, that's wrong, don't be too offended because that's happened to the best of us too. But I've not looked to see what's logical. Anyway, another one that I featured on the... there are no cows in Final Lap Cow. Not that I'm aware of. I will copy and paste your suggestions for other games that I already knew about. But Cow Stream, I've saved that as Cow Stream now. So anything else comes to mind, I can add it to Cow Stream. Right. The next one is one that I also featured in the preview image, and one that may surprise a few people. Now, this is Galaxy Games Volume 2. He's been merged. He's now part of the Matrix. Indeed. Indeed. Final Lap is a cow to play. And there's definitely something to play, Andy. I can't help but think maybe with real controls it'd be a bit better. But it's right. So this does technically take 4 cartridges. MAME doesn't emulate it as a multi-slot, so you can only have 1 in. We have Galaxy Games Volume 2 in. Creative Electronics and Software. Now, this is one of those multi-game things. So, I don't know. Shall we start off with a random game from it? Shall we start off with Battle Bricks? That sounds fun. 2 credits to play. Hit the heartbeat. Okay, so... Oh look, it's a breakout game. So this just gives you the baseline indication of the quality we're dealing with in this collection. They're colourful. They use a trackball for controls. They're mostly designed for 2 players. A cocktail cabinet, which is why the second player is upside down. Although there's no second player playing, so the computer is taking that role. Yeah, there's lots of things to fix in MAME, but it's not always easy finding the right things to fix. So again, a lot of things that look like they might be obvious fixes turn out to be just the way things were designed and weren't bugs in the first place, and it's all sorts of... MAME's a fun thing to find that out with at times. There's a bug fix for something that I'll probably feature on this stream in a bit, actually, because it's an especially bad game that had a bug fix in it. So anyway, you get the idea. This is one of the games in this. Let's just die. No status display, so I don't know how long this goes on for. Maybe it goes on forever. Maybe it literally goes on forever. Maybe the only way to end this game is to actually get the heart block. Probably is. Yeah, I don't think it has lives. I think it's just the first person to get the heart block. Anyway. Enough of that. The real reason I wanted to have a look at this one is more games. Galaxy Games Volume 2 is Namco licensed, so it has Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man. Yeah, that's also a fun thing, R09. I have done that before. Or, you know, I mean, that's what happened with some of the things we've looked on the stream. With the fix for Final Star Force breaking Rait, then they found that Rait was broken on the stream and fixed that. Anyway, Pac-Man. I'll have 4 credits because it's 2 credits each. Press start, 1 or 2 players. Waiting for other player to join. Note, this is Pac-Man with 2 players. There's a lot of hype surrounding, you know, the Miss Pac-Man twin, but it wasn't actually the first Pac-Man game, or only Pac-Man game, or only Miss Pac-Man game with 2 Pac-Men. Although in this case, one of the Pac-Men is green and looks incredibly sick. Also, there's only 1 set of dots, not 2 sets of dots. So, yeah, this is one of the reasons I'm including this on the worst list. Not because it's a 2-player Pac-Man game, but because it's a 2-player Pac-Man game, or even, you know, possibly a 1-player Pac-Man game. I can let the second player die. With trackball controls, which means the controls are slightly laggy. It's not a nice, responsive 4-way joystick. But you know what's even worse? The AI. The AI is nonsense. Pac-Man has very distinct ghost AI that, you know, people generally know and understand that behaves in a certain way. The AI on this version of Pac-Man is more or less random. They do not behave like the Pac-Man ghosts at all. Now, I don't know if that was done to make it easier because, you know, the trackball controls are awful, or if that's just sheer laziness of programming. Just, you know, want it to look like Pac-Man without caring that it plays anything like Pac-Man at all. And Miss Pac-Man is the same. It also plays nothing like Miss Pac-Man. You don't understand the Pac-Man. The Pac-Man AI is well documented at this point. People have disassembled the code. They will tell you exactly which ghosts will do what and how the ghosts work together to, you know, corner you and trap you, and which ghosts you can sort of not be afraid of because you can just run head on towards where they are and they'll take a different turn, and the ones that will, you know, try and come towards you more. In this case, they just don't behave like ghosts are meant to behave. At all. I mean, I've played the cheap plug-and-play Pac-Man games, which don't necessarily have the exact arcade behaviour, but the ghosts behave more like they should. So yeah, this was a multi-game touchscreen thing, so, you know, I guess Pac-Man wasn't the star attraction, but Namco did give a license to the company that made it, CES, to put Pac-Man on one of these cartridges. And there's another one with Atari game on, where it's just got Centipede on. Although I think Centipede's the only Atari game on it. That's not so bad, Centipede with the trackball, because Centipede, you know, used a trackball. Pac-Man's not meant to use a trackball. The two-player mode adds nothing to this. Nothing at all. And yeah, it's just a bad implementation of Pac-Man with a Namco license attached to it. You broke lots of things in the FM Town. That's a shame really, because the FM Towns is actually a decent system, so I'm surprised a lot more people looking at it. I mean, I've certainly done a few FM Towns games on these streams. But, you know, sometimes breaking things is the best way to understand how they actually work. You know, learn from your mistakes, learn what doesn't work as a way to find out what does work. I mean, it's possible some of the X68K fixes that went in recently broke a few things, because I noticed Carl has been tidying up a few bits, but I don't know, there were no specific games mentioned with those fixes. But again, you sometimes have to do that in order to make progress. You have to look at what something wants and then find out the cases that disagree with that. Oh look, I got a bonus life I really didn't want. Anyway, let me kill this Pac-Man off. There we go. No, I don't want to continue. Right, exit. So there's also Miss Pac-Man, but it really is just the same thing. This is from 1998 as the copyright dates. Yeah, I'm just surprised Namco gave them the license and didn't demand that the ghost behaviour was correct or anything like that. Because you would have thought Namco would be a little bit more protective over it. But apparently not. There we go. We can join this. We can join a pink Miss Pac-Man 2 in this one. So again, it's got two-player support. Controls are upside down because it's meant for a cocktail table. Like that. Doesn't have any kind of speed up mode. It's just Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man with bad AI. Which is why I put this one in the bad games list. So the individual games on it aren't really worth checking out either. I mean, they were very basic things. I looked at Battle Bricks, Galactic Mini Golf. You've got 2 bowling type games. You've got 3D Tic Tac Toe, and I think that's a Missile Command type thing from memory. Let me just check. Oh no, it's even worse. It's not a Missile Command, is it? It looks like it should be a Missile Command, but it's it's a puzzle game. I could have easily put Miss Pac-Man Twin on this list because that is actually quite a bad bootleg, but I want to save that for the bootlegs stream. So yes, let's throw planets into other planets. There'll be a few bad puzzle games like this today if I get around to doing the ones I was planning on doing. Just to warn you. But anyway, yeah, there's nothing of any real redeeming value to me in Galaxy Games Volume 2 or any of the Galaxy games, to be quite honest. It's just kind of bad, which is why it's on this stream. You reorganise my list. Should we go for the one that just had a bug fix, like literally an hour ago? I don't think it's an emulation bug either, Stephen. I think it's just quite badly hacked, and they just... No, it's not what I expected from a global domination game either, or the preview picture R09. It looks like it's going to be Missile Command, and you get into it and it's like, oh. Shadow of the Beast. Shadow of the Beast is one of those lovely games. It's a terrible game, but I think on every system it's on, it kind of pushes the hardware in some way or another, because it was a tech demo. So good luck with that, Carl. I do not envy you, because yeah, that's the type of bug where that's the type of thing where you look at what needs fixing and then you realise how many things are going to need testing afterwards. Yeah. So this fix, there's a fix that just went in for this, not from me, but yeah, the fix for this just went in. This is the Tetris, Korean bootleg of the Mirrorsoft PC XT Tetris. So basically, some Korean company took the Mirrorsoft PC version, made a little single board computer out of it, and put the game on it. And it's kind of bad. So it's sort of PC hardware. And also just got sound emulation. Sound emulation. It's farty Tetris. Is this 2 players too? I don't know. Probably not. Unless the original PC version was. Yes. Right, let's coin it up. I think I only have one start button. Now, one of the big issues with this is the controls are really floaty. I don't know if that's an emulation thing, but quite often it will double press your key. It feels like, you know, there's a lag in the controls and it doesn't read the controls every frame. Like then I press rotate once and rotate twice. But yeah, this is one of the worst arcade implementations of Tetris I've played. Now, I'm sure if you had this on the PC back in the day, it would have been okay. But the arcades already had quite a few decent Tetris versions. There's basically no reason to release this. To go out of your way to make a custom PCB that clones PC type hardware, bootleg this Tetris game, and just release it as an arcade. It's pointless. And it doesn't play especially well. You've already got Sega's Tetris on the market, as far as I know, Atari's Tetris on the market. You've got better Tetris clones on the market. And they were quite heavily bootlegged in their own right. So who are you trying to sell this bootleg to? What was your target market? The original PC version was the first Tetris game we played. I can't remember what the first Tetris game I played was. It was probably on the Amiga. If it wasn't the Game Boy Tetris, it might have been the Game Boy Tetris. Like I say, I can't remember if I actually played the Game Boy Tetris. I know people had it, you know, back in school days, but I don't remember if I ever actually played it. I played quite a few PD Amiga games though, including one with really swirly backgrounds. It you know, looked like there was a rave going on in the background, and I can't remember what that one was called. But, you know, the whole background was rotating and pulsating the entire time you were playing it, with some sort of techno type music. It was quite an intense one, that. I don't know what it was called. Yeah, if you want really bad Tetris, well, this fits the bill. When the backgrounds change, it's got changing backgrounds, which, you know, the Sega version has too, and the old Atari version didn't. But again, that's not really a major selling point. Yeah, this is cloned XT hardware. I mean, I think the actual PCB has no original components. It's just like the CPU and FPGA, or gate array of some kind. But yeah, there we go. Select character. A. Okay. But yeah, it's I will not be competing at the broken controls, laggy controls Tetris World Championship. No. The only Tetris I've played that controls worse is the Radical plug and play one, and I think they just covered up the fact that tried to cover that up by having the awful controller, which meant even if you could play what? Oh dear, it broke. I thought this bug was fixed years ago, but apparently it broke. Bomb clears the playfield. Okay, on my second credit, I broke Tetris. So apparently this game is not fully working yet, although I've not seen that bug for a while. So it's not only a bad game, it's a broken game. Let's try again. Now, that bug did used to happen every time you played it. I thought it was fixed, but maybe it only happens on the second credit now, or maybe there's a specific way of triggering it that I just did then. But, yeah, apparently you can still break this one. I don't know if it's worth fixing. I mean, the sound did get hooked up earlier today, so, it wasn't even farty Tetris until today. It was just silent bad Tetris. I think it must be a bug. I can't imagine many people actually played this, but it almost feels like a protection check or something like that, I guess. Why on earth you'd protect this, though, I don't know. What does bomb do? Bomb clears the playfield. There you go. I used the bomb. So if you hold down, you can make it extra farty. It doesn't actually put the piece down for ages. Tetris board for 200. If you paid 200 quid for this, I think you got ripped off. I'm sure you could get a regular Tetris bootleg for less than that. So it seems to work on the second credit again. First credit again. So what happens if I just kill myself off? Enter your name. Okay. There we go. There's a high score table. Does the second credit break again? Why am I still playing this? I don't know. Yeah, I think you'd definitely try and return it after you bought it. I don't think you'd want to keep it. I don't think you'd have it installed in your arcade for very long. The worst thing is, this isn't even the worst game I might look at on PC type hardware today. In fact, we have one far, far, far worse than this. If you don't believe that to be possible, you're in for a treat. Because it really is possible. Survival Arts isn't a PC hardware game. Does Survival Arts have cows? So it's not gone wrong this credit this time. I don't know. Yeah. I think maybe we've seen enough boring Tetris. I wanted to demonstrate that the sound was now fixed. So just a second. And yeah. Hold on, yeah, I can play the next one I want to play. So yeah, you can thank Carl for fixing the sound. I'm just surprised I did manage to break the game though, because I did think it had been fixed. But anyway, that is that is a bad version of Tetris. Shall we look at the other bad PC type hardware game? Yes, let's have a look at the other bad PC hardware type game. This is Filetto from 1990 from Novarmatic. Did Novarmatic do that bad Pac-Man breakout war game? That we looked at, I don't know. Yes, thank you, Carl. Yes, there are far too many bad computer games to choose from, Stephen. That's kind of the problem. There. Look at this title screen. Now, I remind you, this is from 1990. You could go and play, say, a CPS1 game in 1990. Ghouls and Ghosts came out a few years before. Ghouls and Ghosts is an excellent game. This. Yeah. This is an Italian game, and it's basically a Connect 4 type thing. Where do I want to put the piece? There. Oh yeah, we've got some music this time, at least. Are you going to block me there? In fact, it's Connect 3, I think, because it says Series 3. Oh look, I won.
Sei un campione, nessuno ti può battere.
Speech. It said something in Italian. I don't know what it said, but it had speech. Oh, it's got to get 4 in a row this time. Sorry. This is a bad game, isn't it? Zebao 2002. I thought maybe I'd just save some of the really bad ones for this stream, and I think this qualifies. It's just it's not the only bad Connect 4 type game either. There are others. It's smart enough to block me. I don't even want to win at this point. But I won anyway.
Parità, le forze si equivalgono.
I don't know what it says. But hey Costardo, and hey Zebao, and hey Frank, and hey everybody I've not said hey to actually. Hey, I said hey and welcome to Stephen. Oh look, apparently there's a Tetris round in it. Just in case you've not had enough bad Tetris yet today. So yeah, I better play bad Tetris. Bad music. This one, as soon as you drop the piece, you can't move it again. By the way. The music's fantastic, isn't it, Costardo? Absolutely the best music you've ever heard. 1990s arcade gaming. Or 1990 arcade gaming. Oh dear. I really hate to think what type of arcade actually installed this. I think we've seen enough of Filetto. Much better tech was available in 1990, Frank. Much better tech was available in 1990. I don't understand why that exists. I really don't. Anyway. Shall we go with a game that technically actually has some level of production values and I just don't like as a game? Konami's Kubrick from 1989. Hey, look, it's a famous Konami font. Machine name is Johnson. Okay. Presumably Boris. Yes, you can do decent PC speaker music. I don't think that was decent PC speaker music. So, why don't I like this game? Well, I don't know why the machine's name is Johnson. Basically, I don't like this game because it's just a slide puzzle. And, again, I mean, I don't like slide puzzles for a start. In fact, I hate slide puzzles. Did I ever say that? This is actually on two different pieces of hardware. This one's on the Turtles hardware. It was also the Japanese version's on entirely different hardware. You can push two pieces at once. Look, I mean that's innovative slide puzzle mechanics. Right there. Pushing more than one piece at once. I don't like slide puzzles like this. You can have the best slide puzzle in the world, and I still hate it. You can move the piece while the ball's on it though, which makes it slightly easier. There we go, I completed 11. Gutang is a far better game, Aussie guy. I actually like that one. I mean, that's one of the few slide puzzle games that I actually like, because it's got the whole mechanic of, you know, going around the edges. So yeah, you can pause it, which is not helping me out. Now, I don't know if you can go around the edge. I don't. Time over. Well, that was a bit unfair. Time overing me. So, yeah, speed up. Can you go around the edge? Yeah, you can leap around the edge. Okay. Yeah, this version runs on, you know, the Turtle style hardware. If I load the Japanese version, it runs on Twin 16 hardware, which is two 68Ks. Was this on the Mega Drive as Junction? So yeah, you've got a version. This machine is also called Johnson, but this version has two 68K processors. So if you're really talking waste of hardware, then the Japanese version is even a bigger waste of hardware. Does have a different level though. I don't know why you're playing Filetto Cow. There are definitely better things you could be doing with your time than playing Filetto. Now, I note the levels here are easier. And a Z80, yes. So clearly it needs the better hardware to do these far more complex levels. Far easier levels even. Yeah, oh, I unpaused it after I moved the piece out of it. That was clever of me. So yeah, let's just pause it. Oh, I can't pause it. I can pause it. There we go. Thank God they implemented the shots. Yes, it's a very Upoko style background, isn't it, with the undersea theme. But Upoko is a much better game. I don't know what the starfish does. So we found. Oh, it's a bonus. Okay. The starfish bonus. Yeah, why does the Japanese version have such easier levels? But yeah, it's a slide puzzle game, and to be honest, I don't go to an arcade to play slide puzzles. I like puzzle games, but slide puzzles? Now this is the level we saw in the other version. Possibly, that would make sense, Frank. US operators especially did not like long games, and Konami were notorious for making the American versions of games ridiculous. No, you have to like slide puzzle games to like this one, not just puzzle games. I mean, like I said, I'd much rather play Locomotion if I'm going to play one. And I will be featuring Locomotion on a stream. Anyway. So, you've seen Cubic, but a lot of these games, these bad games, there's not much to show beyond firing up and showing, you know, this is a bad game, and that is one such example. So we will probably be getting through quite a few of these quite quickly, because, you know, Kubrick's just that over and over and over again. A lot of these are just overly basic concepts, which is one of the problems with them. And this is the same applies here. This is Snapper, a PhilKo game on clone System 16 hardware without any sprites. So this only has the timeout layers. Yeah, I mean, if you like slide puzzles, Mo, I'm sure Kubrick's fine, but it's not one I personally like. I think it's pretty bad. It's not exciting. Nor is this. Now this one, I've put here as much for the backgrounds as the gameplay. Because when I see this background, it looks like it's corrupt. It looks like maybe the bit planes are in the wrong order. There's something wrong with the graphics. But no, this is how the graphics are meant to look. Just mediocre, forgettable games. Yeah, to an extent, Bob. But in terms of arcade games, if it's, you know, mediocre and forgettable, it's a bad arcade game. Because they're meant to be memorable. They're meant to make you want to put more money in, keep you coming back, tell your friends to go down the arcade and, you know, put the money in. And yeah, here we have Snake with ugly graphics and some jolly sound. The lives look like the Wonder Boy snakes. Yes, they do, don't they? They probably are. Or at least very heavily influenced by them. This is a Korean game after all. Also, you tweet if you keep pressing the button. I'm a tweeting snake. Is that Bubba or Bob? I think it's their evil cousin. I do like tweeting snake while pressing the button, so. I mean, this was what, 1990, I think? So it seems like 1990 was a fantastic year for arcades. Ooh, I really shouldn't do that. Yeah, 1990. So 1990 gave us Filetto and Snapper. Jolly sound, yes. Now again, there are no sprites, which is why the octopus is moving around the tiles up there. They cloned the System 16 hardware, but did not bother to clone the sprite system at all. There's Atomic Point that runs on the same hardware, which is a clone of Flashpoint, well, a copy of Flashpoint. And likewise doesn't have sprites. The animal is there to kill you by moving randomly. and hoping you go nowhere near it. Hoping you go somewhere near it even. It seems to have no real intelligence. Now it's a ghost eraser. See, part of me wants to just trap it, but you can't trap it, look. There should be a bonus for trapping the creature, but there isn't. Because this is really an entirely bare bones implementation of Snake. Now obviously this was before Nokia made Snake super popular. So there's that. People weren't just playing the game on their phones at this point. So it had some value. But it's still just Snake. With ugly graphics. Nice tunes, but they get very repetitive. It doesn't have much in the way of variety of tunes. And we've got the entertainer for the second time here. I think it's just looping about 2 or 3 tunes. Oh. Oh, and I forgot. You can control this game in 2 ways. You can use the joystick, so this could go in a cab with a joystick, up, down, left, right. But also, you can play it with 2 buttons. Rotate left and rotate right. Yeah, I think there are 3 tunes. So rotate left, rotate right. So I guess this was maybe designed to be put in cabinets that only had 2 buttons rather than a joystick. So maybe they wanted people to convert some other games, Asteroids? I'm not sure. I mean, you'd have to change the monitor out. Although playing this did get me thinking, how many games could you modify to just use buttons instead of a stick and still have them be playable? And I was thinking you could probably do Pac-Man. If you gave Pac-Man a rotate left button, a rotate right button, and a turn around 180 degrees button, you could play Pac-Man with 3 buttons. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but I think it'd still be a functional game. And by functional, I mean, I'm surprised there isn't a Korean version that does exactly that everybody says is terrible, but there isn't. Yeah, a lot of the Korean games do have DOS Amiga Share feel to them. Ramses. So. Unfortunately, this doesn't get any more exciting or even any more difficult. Really, it's just it almost feels like this game was made for kids. Yeah, Night Driver. I mean, any racing game, you can add auto acceleration. Or you could just make, if you want to brake, you could have press left and right at the same time. Oh, look. It's a bonus round. Just in case you ever wanted a bonus round. Anyway. I get some bonus points. And then we're right back to this. Obviously, Yupoko's one of the most famous single button games. Well, single button, joystick down, don't really need anything else. Anyway, I don't think this even has 2-player mode, does it? No, it doesn't seem to have a 2-snake option. So, Snapper. Again, it takes a very simple concept and does nothing at all special with it. So, falls flat. Now, I'm going to put on one that I want to like, but can't like. Software variant 1.33. Now this one, technically seems impressive. It's a vertical game, so let me change my view. I mean, this one's even using fancy raster effects, you know, scanline timing effects to do title screen effect and high score effects and everything else. And it's a pinball game. You see that effect there and that effect there? That's all raster effects. That's mid-screen scroll value changes. Yeah, the background music was the entertainer cam, as Mo said. So look, this looks like a really impressive pinball game. The controls, I seem to recall, are a little awkward. So you've got use items, you've got tilt left. I don't really know what type of cabinet this was meant to be in, or at least, you know, some versions of this. I think there's this one, there's Grand Cross Pinball, and both are basically the same game, but slightly different. And it says, "Alright, you've made a right choice" when you insert a credit. Yeah, it does have a toe plan, Mega Drive look to it. But then you get to the game, and it's got all this nice fancy presentation. But it just feels like there's a layer missing. It tells you what everything does on this version. So this seems like the newer version of the game, because it is more complete. But look, then it just looks like your ball's floating over something, but there is no other layer. You've got these odd transparency effects that don't quite work. Because it doesn't have hardware transparency. And you say you've got two sets of flipper keys. And it takes forever to blow your ball when you miss it. So was this actually in a custom, designed for a custom pinball cabinet? Because I can't think of any other hardware that would have 4 buttons, one for each, you know, for different sets of flippers. And it's got like 2 different tilt buttons, which I'm assuming would be shake the cabinet. And it's got 2 item use buttons. So I think my keys are wrong anyway. Let's try that. But there seems to be so much to this game. There's whole boss areas. There seems to be other levels based on the attract mode, based on the graphics in there. But 90% of the time, all that happens is my ball goes out to play and I don't really know what's going on. Or the ball just gets stuck. And then you wait again. And the ball blows up. Let's try again. I don't know. It just makes no sense. I mean, I've never seen a picture of a cabinet for this. But the control setup isn't logical for a standard cabinet. So these are my inner flippers and those ones up there. And again, once that happens, it's gone. Yeah, I know there's a bonus stage and a boss stage and a switch, but I can't get to them. You can see it uses the dithering effect to make things semi-transparent there, checkerboard effect. It seems to be dropping items for me to pick up with the ball if I can. And I can use the items I've picked up. But I don't really know what's going on again. So, okay, I can go over here now, you see. And get to a bit more of the table, but I don't know. I want to like this one, and it seems to have really good presentation values, as I said, but I just struggle with it. You know, I love playing Pinball Dreams and the like, and plenty of other pinball games. But, I mean, the physics don't even seem bad. So I don't know if this belongs on my list of bad games, or if it's just a game I really just don't understand or don't get. Get back up there. It feels like it's missing things as well, because most pinball games you can use your buttons to cycle through the targets up there, but on this one none of them seem to cycle it. And there we go, I can get in here. So is this the boss stage? And now it's a shoot 'em up with 2 fire buttons. You know, you're using your left and right buttons here to shoot things, and your flipper buttons to move fast or slow. So again, you've got all your 4 buttons. Slower your middle flippers, faster your outer flippers. Your fire buttons are the use item buttons, left and right, and it's no longer even a pinball game. So what on earth is this game trying to do or trying to be? And now I'm turning back into a pinball. This is categorized as very good. I mean, maybe I just don't understand it properly. Most of the time when I lose the ball, I don't feel like it's anything I've especially done wrong. But I don't know. It's like it's trying to be. Is it Dragon's Crush? The one that's made on the PC Engine.
Mission accomplished.
This is actually the best I've done on this, because I usually try and play the Grand Cross pinball version, which seems to be worse. I don't know. Maybe I'm just judging this too harshly, and it is a good game. But it's never clicked with me, this one. So, you know, you can judge for yourself. I mean, this no longer feels like a pinball table. This is just like a little room. I'm just not really enjoying it. See, what's happening now? Where's my ball? Oh, it's there. Oh, now that's open up there. It's like it's a pinball game that's trying to be other things, and which is a shame, because they seem to actually have a fairly decent pinball engine compared to a lot of games. But then you're left doing this, and the pace is all wrong. So when you're losing the ball at the start, it was just taking too long to respawn. Now we've got to go through this maze of, I don't know. Now it's a pinball maze game with odd physics. It doesn't have the pace for an arcade game. As mentioned, it feels maybe more like a Mega Drive game. Maybe if this was on the Mega Drive, it'd be better understood. Yeah, and it's never clear what you collide with. That's my problem in the first level. It's never clear where you are, what you're meant to be doing. It felt like there was a layer missing, but there definitely isn't a layer missing. But after that part where I kept dying instantly, I'm now on parts where dying seems to be a challenge. Oh, apparently I can use the thing to control the direction of the ball, because that makes sense. That is what these power-ups must do. Again, this is not explained. And the ball exploded there for what reason? I don't know. Where is my ball? Hello. Give me a ball. Again, maybe there's some mechanical part of the machine that's meant to fill in that blank, those blank space when your ball's respawning, like making noise of a ball moving down somewhere. I don't know. It just feels like it takes forever to give you your ball back with nothing happening. It looks nicer than most Amiga games in terms of the graphics, I think. The colours Look, maybe it feels like maybe an Amiga AGA game, but that would be early Amiga. But I'm not enjoying it, and I've never managed to enjoy it. And even though now I've got further than I used to get in this game, I still don't think it's much fun. And again, you see, this credit is now lasting forever. The difficulty balance is strange. You know, you can lose an entire credit in 30 seconds at the start of the game, and now you get to this point, and you can be here just hitting the ball aimlessly for 5 minutes. I mean, if you're enjoying me just tapping flippers and not doing anything, say, I think I'm going to end this game now, actually, because I think it's been going on a bit too long. There we go. The over-elaborate explosion animation again. Oh, no, still got a life left. Yeah, okay. I don't know. They probably didn't mind the game as long as nobody actually got past the first screen. But once you get past the first screen, it just turns into that. I don't know. Right, let's go with one that was mentioned when I asked for suggestions of bad games, and I'm kind of inclined to agree. Atari's ThunderJaws, again from 1990. You actually enjoyed that one, Carlo. I mean, I can't get into it. Most excellent divers. Now, I guess because it's a burning cavern, I'm instantly reminded of the Spanish Magnet System game, Burning Cavern, in terms of the visuals. Now, I will say this does still have an emulation bug. I think on your second credit, the game will always reset because of some strange race condition or protection. That's a very standard Atari bong sound, Frank. But the issue with this feels to me like it feels very, very clunky. Obviously, it's meant to be a big spy type thing game, but you know, there are good spy games in the arcades. Data East Sly Spy Secret Agent is actually, you know, a game I really like. But this does it, and it just feels worse. This stage isn't too bad. But yes, I think her jacket could have done with a bit of buttoning up into. Look at your purple score in the corner, because that's a really good colour to have the score as. Unnecessary speech. Also, who put all these sharks down here? It's not really fair. Oh look. And back here. Underwater Uzi, of course. As I said, this part of the game isn't really the part I think is especially bad. This part is an average underwater shooter. This game is impossible to 1cc, is it? What makes it impossible to 1cc? The Pro Mark. Oh, you're being sarcastic about the other game being fun, were you, Colin? I am certainly not the pro from MARP. I am not a good player of games. So welcome, the pro from MARP. I'm sure you have many good replays on MARP. MARP being the main action replay page. where there are lots of imp files to play back in various versions of MAME. Which I've often used for bug fixing when they've been recorded with later, current versions, because it helps to have a good player of a game sometimes to demonstrate bugs. There we go. Now this is where the game starts to get really rough. Look at this animation. This is almost Double Dragon 3 level of animation. You just choppily move across in tiles, almost. It doesn't look good. You've got, what, 3 frames of animation? Actually, your leg does swap position, so maybe more than 3, but it doesn't feel very well animated. Obviously now it's just a Shinobi Rolling Thunder rip-off after being a shooting game. But again, very Amiga-like graphics. Rolling Thunder, yes. Again, it's starting to feel like, say, an early Amiga game rather than an arcade. Obviously, Rolling Thunder is an iconic game. Shinobi is an iconic game. This... And hey David, welcome, and hey Wolfaz, welcome. And also hey the Pro Mark, welcome, of course. I'm forgetting to welcome people, but I hope you're all enjoying the stream, and I hope you're all doing well as well, so good evening to you all, and you continue to see me play some games badly while mutants get drained in the background. It's probably the best thing in the game, seeing these ladies get transformed into mutants. Wouldn't you want his job? Oh, look, I fell down a hole I thought was going to be a checkpoint. So yeah, Zypho, who does the AM streams, mentioned this one as a potential bad game to cover. And yeah, it's definitely not one of Atari's best. Yeah, it's not really Atari's quality, is it? It's not as bad as the Super Seeker. It's not as bad as another Rolling Thunder riff-off that we might look at shortly, but it's still pretty bad. The problem is, I think it's one of those games also that was, went for the 2 different styles and in the end didn't really pull either off that well. Konami's Spy ended up doing the same. We looked at another time. That doesn't know if it wants to be a beat 'em up or an into the screen shooter or what. Animation's really awkward too. And that excellent is just so 90s. Sounds like they're going all Bill and Ted all over again. Yeah, it's just so obviously a rip-off of Rolling Thunder. Release Cactus. Yeah, all the graphics all over the place. And then we just have that for no reason. I guess that's your level reward. Go, boys. Again, it's trying to be all James Bond spy, I guess, but it doesn't really work. Yeah, it would have been more expected of this type of game for them to turn into mutants and eat your head or something like that. Look, now I have a big plate. Better not waste it. Toasted shark. See, I don't really mind these scrolling sections as much. They're not great, but... I'll be back. Okay. Yeah, this section actually smooths quite This section smooths scrolly and animates, scrolls smoothly and animates smoothly. which is in complete contrast to the Rolling Thunder sections where the animation is not smooth at all. It is really like the two completely different games that have just been joined together. It still feels like a Euro shooter, but even the music's very James Bond, isn't it? Oh, the text scrolling. Yeah, the text scrolling wasn't good. The text scrolling looked like it was being done in tiles, I think. How rude. Yeah, the speech is just bad. I do like my flamethrower though. You have a swim fast button, which doesn't seem to help much. Look. Slow downs. Yeah, you don't use "I'll be back" as a quote when you die either. I mean, it's not Terminator. And yes, it's a very farty flamethrower. It's a very Mega Drive sound effect flamethrower. So, yeah, ThunderJaws. I mean, most heinous. Again, it's gone all Bill and Ted. It's like, it couldn't be more sort of early 90s if it tried. You know, late 80s, early 90s. In a bad way. But yeah, that was ThunderJaws, not one of Atari's best. Not Atari's worst either, but Atari did start to produce some bad games around that time, and yeah, that's probably one of them. I better go and have a look at one of the others that was on the preview image. The Castle of Dracula by Yun Sung. Yeah, YSE. 1994. It's another puzzle game. Bad sampled music. And Lego Man as your character. The music really fits, doesn't it? Now, the gameplay here, you probably already recognised, is just a copy of Taito's plotting or plotting or flipple, as it's also called. Yep, you do think that from the title screen that this is going to be a Castlevania clone, but no, it's a plotting clone. No, not Puznik, plotting, Frank. aka Flipple. Obviously the art has been stolen from various places, so it's all inconsistent. Here's a map of the castle. So, you know, what colour piece do I want? I'll take that piece. Then I'll use that piece to get that piece. And I'll use that piece to get that piece. No, I can't do that, sorry. Wrong one. I'll use that piece to get that piece. I'll get that piece. Get that piece. Get that piece. And I'll get the key. This is amazing, isn't it, R09, indeed. Simon Belmont lost his whip and now just resorts to keying blocks. That is possibly what's happened here, Ramses. Yes. Now, unlike most Yun Sung games, I think this one is family friendly because it does have a test mode where you can view all the graphics and none of them seem to be naked, which is a start. Let's get this piece. Let's do that. Oh, I can get the generic piece. Get rid of that. I have the key. It's just sampled stolen music, Aussie guy. I mean, the interesting thing with this one is the hardware. It's on Dynax style hardware. So it's all done with a blitter. There's no sprites or tile maps here. That doesn't really excuse the game in any way whatsoever, but it is just a random fact about the game. Amazing is maybe not the word I'd use anyway. The game is just this. It's entirely just this. If you want this, you should probably just play plotting, to be quite honest. Oh, wrong place. Oh, I can't use that piece, so I get a miss and I lose a life. But then I can just win the level like that. Indeed, nobody wants Doom. You will have to play Castle of Dracula, the latest hit in the arcades. Absolutely a must-play game. Forget that Street Fighter 2 thing you were playing years ago. That's all in the past. Arcades are being reborn. Better than ever. Oh dear. Yeah, the title screen builds your expectations so high with the picture of Dracula and the lightning effects, and then you get this. This is the game. And, Let's just kill myself off. I mean, there's nothing else to show. This is the game. Oh, you can't kill yourself off that way. You actually have to miss. So you have to fail. There we go. A pirate ship Haimaru is one I might do for a pirate stream, Carlo. So I was thinking of doing a pirate themed stream. There's just a girl getting uncovered on the right, but she's not naked or anything, the Aaargh. So, you know, that's okay, I think. Same. Another. Game over. I have a choice. I'll choose game over. There we go. There's some amazingly bad games with pirates. There's some alright ones too. There's Pirates. The Cabal clone. There's Pirates Gold on the Mega Drive. There's Booty, which everybody seems to hate on the Spectrum, but I actually kind of like, with its annoying tunes. Treasure Island on the Spectrum. Captain Silver, that was almost on the stream. In fact, that might be on the stream. Hey Foxhack, yes, this game that sets your expectations so high and then buries them. Yeah, that's Castle of Dracula. Let's have a look at Super Ranger, also known as Rough Ranger, because apparently calling it Rough Ranger wasn't good enough, so they renamed it to Super Ranger or something. This is a SunA game, or SunA, or SunA, I don't know. And this is another Rolling Thunder ripoff. Except it's really bad. Yeah, Captain Silver's a bad one, Carlo. And like most SunA games, or SunA games, it has renditions of various pieces of classic music for the music. Yes, SunA did Ultra Bubble, which is okay, but everything else is kind of bad. Hide in the store. Why do the doors sound like chainsaws? Now, there are many SunA games I could have picked, but I decided to pick this one. You know, I could have done Sparkman. Sparkman was an easy possible option, or Best of Best, or Backstreet Soccer, or... And this is honestly more like something I expect to be played at a wedding. Ow. Captain Sylvia's got more problems than that. I mean, I don't like the way in Captain Sylvia you can pretty much die during your attack animations if part of your attack animations touches the enemy before, you know, your arm touches the enemy during your attack animation and you die. Because it's not your sword. Yeah. To its credit, this has better animation than ThunderJaws did. Although it's very sticky, you can't move for a second after you jump and everything. Which... Ooh. I don't know what the heroes are wearing. Maybe it was quite warm and they just wanted to be topless. You know, maybe they also thought they were going to make a Green Beret clone, so decided to put them in Green Berets. One player, enemy killed, 07. Not 007, just 07. Hit it with a fart bomb. Now we can fly with our tile map plane that cuts holes in the things behind it because it's a tile map that's not properly transparent. Anyway. This game also has very farty sound effects, yes. Pure fart on my head there. Nice of them to mark where the guns are, to be fair. I don't know where that person jumped to, but they must have a very good jump to have just jumped off the screen and never landed. Yeah, I think he was beamed back up, wasn't he? Yes, this is bad. Oh look, the sprites are in front of the continue marker. That's another sign of excellent quality game design. I will avoid your farty bomb. Wait, I can't do this because they just respawn. That is not how to avoid a farty bomb. Jumping guy was Neo at the end of the Matrix. Yes, possibly also that, Bob. Okay. I'm glad you just spawned me forward to that place. I mean, I'm assuming the continue thing is not just a main bug, but, you know, it's a Korean game, it's probably not a main bug. As much as SunA did protect their games, I don't think that's going to be a main bug. Now I have the O-ring gun. Whatever an O-ring gun is, it just makes O-rings. That's why I'm calling it the O-ring gun. Oh, look, I can't jump over that. I can just go for the bathroom break though. How was I meant to get down there without taking damage? Okay. You know, if this was any other video game, I could just blow up those TNT crates and everybody who was stupid enough to walk up them would die, but the onion ring shooter, yes, that's probably also... I don't know who put these categories together, Stephen, because this is definitely not good. I don't think you'd find anybody who would legitimately call this good. This is Rolling Thunder done wrong. What on earth is that meant to be? yeah. What is bad on the list, Stephen? No. Because to me, Rough Ranger is pretty bad, or Super Ranger. We already had a look at PhilKo game. We had a look at Snapper, Carlo. We did. It's easy to pick on sports games, but let's pick on a sports game. Kick Goal, 1995 TCH. Reminder, you could be playing Hat Trick Hero 95 or any of the Taito football games. Or you could play Kick Goal. Azurian's pretty bad. 005, I don't remember that being bad. Azurian's a very generic Galaxian hardware thing. It is actually on the list of potential things to play. SunA did do Hardhead and its sequel Hardhead 2 with the naked babies. Yeah. So, don't we all love a good sports game with great graphics and... Yeah, let's just put credit. Now it's called Kick and Goal on this screen, you see, but on the title screen it's just called Kick Goal. Let's be... Style attacking. Now there are two different game modes, there's indoor and street. Let's play street. Now, great choice of kits here. Grey with red stripes and grey with yellow stripes. Oh, and they've scored. This is one that I had the misfortune of working in the emulation of back in the day. It runs on very similar hardware to Action Hollywood, but Action Hollywood is a good game. This is not a good game. Now, the difference between indoor and outdoor is that in outdoor, the ball can go out of play. Happy Hayes tried to pass Amiga games off as arcade games day. I don't know what you were trying to say there, Bob. Although I might be doing that shortly. Fault, not foul, but fault. The referee's the most excited looking character in this game. Off the back of my head and out. And kick and out. Long ball. It hit the post and went out. It went out. So yeah, I don't mind a good football game, but let's be fair, this isn't a good football game. I scored though. I got a go well. Yes, kick goal, David. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think Action Hollywood's trying to hide the fact it's heavily influenced by various movies and like, but you know, it's quite obvious the Star Wars in places and Indiana Jones in another place. But it's a fun little colour the tiles game. Now, I'm sure if you've been watching the football, this is far better than anything that's been on it. A question that isn't related to the stream. No, a lot of people don't like Butter-san, Stephen. It's one of the reasons I did it on sort of one of the episodes, to highlight that it's actually a good game. Unlike these episodes where I'm not trying to highlight things that are good games. I just want to win a match though. I might have to put it on indoor mode at some point too. Just so you can know, they went the whole effort of making it a second mode. Also, this one is one of those games that uses a protected pick for the sound, which had to be decapped and dumped. So, you know, this isn't even one of the cheaper games to get emulated in the sense that the decapping process is expensive. Special effort had to be made to get working sound in this game. When were the Hyperscan games redumped? Were they redumped? I don't recall them being redumped. I thought the sets had remained fairly the same for a while. I mean, Hyperscan needs the CHDs and the BIOS image, and if you want to use the memory cards, it needs the single byte files that contain the memory card data. Is that what you're referring to? Because the memory card files are relatively recent, although they're just files containing a single byte, which is the ID card for the different card, the ID code for the different cards. Penalty! Yellow card! Oh, that was a great penalty. That was like an England quality penalty. What? What penalty? Why penalty? Eh? What did I get a penalty for? That made no sense whatsoever. I'm not complaining, but I think somebody paid the ref there. Oh, and the players scratch their arse when they're waiting around, obviously, because that's what you do in a football match. And the time doesn't go down and the keeper's got it. You're probably just missing the CHDs then, David, because it shouldn't require the cards on startup unless you've got the cards inserted. I won a match. Anyway, that's Kick Goal's outdoor mode. Kick Goal also has an indoor mode, which we'll briefly look at. Look, now the indoor mode, it's just got a wall around the playing area. So you can kick it against the wall, if you really want to. Now it's wall kickball. Which kind of, it reminds you of the old FIFA 97-98 indoor mode. Except much worse. But several years before. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much change. So if you've just not got the CHDs, because I think it only requires one file for the BIOS, and that's not changed in like 10 years. So, spectacularly bad football games. I mean, maybe there were worse football games, but this one is definitely not good. Though the indoor mode does add something a bit different at least. Football with tennis rules. No, well, it's not. I'm not. The scores aren't in like 15s. It's not 40 love. That would just be confusing. I still don't know why tennis has scores like that. I'm winning again. The commentator's voice is really deep. I guess the OKI frequencies could be incorrect. That is entirely possible. You dived. It's not a fault. I was going in. Anyway, now we get. I think eventually you do play in the gym if you win enough matches. But I mean, who's actually going to do that? Kick goal. Wow, we're only almost up to 2 hours. This is we're getting through a lot of games, but that's because they're generally not worth playing for any amount of time whatsoever. Okay, let's go with another puzzle game that really doesn't work as a concept that well. This is Spot. 1990. Is this the just 1990 strip now? We've played quite a lot of games from 1990. This is on Arcadia Systems hardware, which is the Amiga. So what was Bob saying? Apparently it is beer, Bob, or rum in this case. My rum is the cheap Amazon brand rum, which is actually not that bad. Or actually, spirit drink made from rum, because it's only 35% strength, so they can't call it rum. Now, this is Spot, aka 7-Up Spot, on Amiga. You might have thought it would be Cool Spot. It's not Cool Spot. They've probably decased it, Zontar. So this is one of those... The tile next to you changes colour if you put your tile down. If you move 1 square, you multiply yourself. If you move 2 squares, you don't. It's a puzzle game with the Cool Spot character. Except it's not Cool Spot. So we'll put a credit in. Look, produced with the Commodore Amiga microcomputer. Yeah, it's off centre. No, I can't be bothered to fix it. You know, the worst part is this isn't even the worst Arcadia game. So look, I can move my thing 1 square and it multiplies. You get silly little animations. The thing that really annoys me though is the computer's Spot character is red, just like mine. I'm the one with the red spots. I know the logo is a red spot, but it doesn't make sense that the computer's character is also red when they're multiplying their pieces. At least in my opinion. So, see, if I put that there, I'm probably going to lose my piece because then, no. Can't move that. I can move there, you see. But because I move 2 squares, it doesn't multiply the piece. It's just a puzzle game. Yeah, for copyright trademark reasons probably, but it doesn't work in the context of the game, because you see this red character jumping out, and then that's actually the green player. You would have thought they would understand that, you know, it's a game. They have to be able to do it slightly differently. Unfortunately, I'm almost guaranteed to lose this because I have no strategy, and they can just use that green piece to, yeah, do that. Whatever. The only redeeming feature of this game are the animations. And that is not saying much. Yeah. Yeah, it's an Othello reversey type thing, I should say. But I think I might have lost. So pour myself some Coke. There's a timer. Yeah, I quite like Spot Goes to Hollywood's on tour, the isometric one. I think a lot of people don't, but I actually like that one more than the original Cool Spot. That also starts on a pirate ship, doesn't it? So I could potentially do that on the pirate theme stream. And there we go. I have lost. Green wins. And frankly, I'm not inclined to even give that another go. It's one of my favourite isometric games, actually. I probably prefer the original Sonic 3D, but I do like Spot Goes to Hollywood. Let's have a look at another Arcadia game. And again, not the worst Arcadia game. This is 1988 Arcadia Systems. And this game actually doesn't look too bad. In fact, compared to pretty much all the other Arcadia games, this has decent presentation. It's also one of the only ones that I believe doesn't work as part of the multi-system. It has to be a dedicated game, this one. And look, it's got big monsters destroying buildings. It kind of makes you think of Gauntlet. I think that's 3 minutes total R09. After 3 minutes you kicked off the machine. Even if you win. So move your monster with joystick, punch head to hit buildings. You've got to get the egg, basically. Unfortunately, it's not really a Rampage clone. You want it to be, but instead you're just going up to buildings and using the punch key on them repeatedly. You can set them on fire to accelerate the destruction. But you can't climb the buildings, you can't jump on the buildings. Let's burn the catapult. You can eat people, that's a funny sound effect. I think it even says people. Other than that, you're just punching the buildings to find out what's underneath them. You can eat giant pieces of pizza though. It says food. Unfortunately, yeah, it wants to be Gauntlet. It's Gauntlet Rampage. It's well presented, but it doesn't have what made Gauntlet fun. And this, once you get here, it's like the punch is having no effect on the building. This building takes so many punches. And I think you can breathe fire and accelerate it, but if you don't breathe fire on it or you run out of fire, it just takes forever. Pardon me. It still takes a long time. Is this fun? I'll put some more fire on it. Oh, I died. Game over. Okay, let's continue. Oh, look, it's starting again. Also, how do you cross the bridge? You can't get across. You can't go. You actually have to destroy the bridge to get across the bridge, which is not actually obvious. See some people. So once the bridge is destroyed, you can actually cross it. I guess because the monster's too big to cross the bridge. And I died again. Yeah, Attacks is very similar. I didn't realise it was all based on the same Amiga game though, Bob. That's an interesting little fact you come up with. So, as Bob says in the chat, the Spot game started off as an Amiga homebrew called Infection, Leland licensed it as Attacks, which is a game that more people may be familiar with, and apparently it became Spot 2. And it was also the microscope puzzle in 7th Guest. Apparently I've died without looking at the screen. So I was trying to destroy a bridge. Now it's got that Batman-like transformation of your character at the top for your health bar. It changes from the regular monster to one that says "Aaargh" as you die. As I did again. Infection was on an Amiga Power cover disc. It wasn't one I ever played, Mo. I wonder if it runs in MAME then, because obviously that does. And maybe it would be one of the Amiga games that I can actually run. Not that I'm going to want to desperately, because let's be fair, I didn't think it was especially good. I died again. Did I? No. Not yet. Oh, I died that time. So yeah, this, it sets the expectations high, this one, because it actually looks really nice, and you think you're going to get a good fun game, but in the end you get a credit-eating game that really isn't that good. Yeah, I think Zenon's an awful game, Andy. I never liked it. And if that's meant to be like the best one... I mean, Delta Warriors is New York Warriors. Delta Command is New York Warriors, which seems okay, but it doesn't run well in MAME. It runs too fast, so it's not really playable, unfortunately. But then you've got awful ones, like you've got that tile matching game, Pharaoh's something, which, wouldn't even have made a good Amiga PD game. I forgot how you kill the birds. I think you have to press up to kill the birds. I completed this level the first time in practice. Apparently practice does not reflect the reality of playing on stream. I almost got the pizza. Anyway, as you can see, it's not an amazing amount of fun. You die too easily. It's very difficult to aim at anything to actually hit it out the sky. It's very flat. You want to be able to jump on the buildings like in Rampage, you can't. They're just obstacles that get in the way. You're never sure if you're in the right position. It looks nice, the concept's good. It doesn't really work as a game. So, yes. Now, okay, let's go with one that was actually apparently on the list of bad games. Azurian Attack by Rait Electronics on Galaxian type hardware. Sidewinder was good too. Again, I never really liked Sidewinder. I mean, I didn't like shooters on the Amiga as a general rule. It took me until MAME and the arcade shooters to actually appreciate them, and some of the ones on the Mega Drive, but I didn't really have many on the Mega Drive. I really didn't like shooters on the Amiga. I mean, everybody's raving about Banshee in the AGA days, and I thought that was absolutely awful. I didn't like Battle Squadron either, so... So yeah, what's this? It's one of those games with quite a phallic looking ship, especially the life icon, where you're just going around shooting things. I guess you'd call it underwhelming. I can see why it's, you know, in the not well received, not well rated games. I mean, it's probably a very obscure game. I mean, I doubt many people have even played it, which is not going to help its rating. But it's, you know, a move around shoot things game that's just not as good as other move around shoot things games. It's not as bad as Asteroids on Space Force we looked at the other day in part 1. Don't know, these are completely original set of sounds, Bob. Never heard them before in my life. I think you must be imagining it. Oh look, I completed a wave of enemies. And now there's some different enemies. No, it's definitely not Galaxian, Stephen. Never heard these sound effects. Completely original. That's definitely also not the Galaxian explosion. The Earth appears to be a slightly odd colour. Yeah, it's probably just boring. I put this on because was on the list of bad games from the various MAME support INI files that people can download. You know, ones that people haven't reviewed well. But yeah, it's just boring, as you say. You might put a credit in it and go, oh. Probably, also, it's not clear where the edges of the screens are. That's probably one of the bad things in the design. But the screen ends there, and then you can think you might be able to manoeuvre around something, because the enemies can move towards the edge when you can't, which is kind of bad design. Because you can't manoeuvre around things, but they can, and you stick against the edge in an unnatural way. 0 to worse. I don't think it deserves to be 0 to worse, but it's not a good game. There were definitely worse games like Filetto that we looked at earlier. But yeah, it's not great, is it? Oh, we get another round with kite enemies. I don't know what you are. Now this might be a slightly shorter stream than usual because I want to watch some other stuff that's going to start fairly soon. So I might play another game or two and then call the stream at about like the 2 hour 20-minute mark. So I don't miss my friend's stream. It's a game from New Zealand, is it? Well, okay, there aren't many games from New Zealand. Oh, we've got a different type of round here. We've got a bonus round, look. Mauzac's another game from New Zealand, isn't it? That's not very well emulated yet. It's got collision issues. Yeah, I can't think of many games from New Zealand. It'd be nice to have Mauzac working better. Maybe it works better in WinArcadia, I'm not sure. But I don't use WinArcadia. The collision on this round is terrible. And that's where I'm going to end that game because, yeah, it was starting to just get annoying. Okay, I've played this one before, but... Cybertank, 1988 Coreland. Got to handle, accelerate, And this is another one like Lucky and Wild, I think, where you have a second player just on a gun. So you've got your first player on the tank, and then the second player on a gun. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see how this maps and controls anyway. This is Coreland Technologies Cyber Tank. Now, my main issue with this one is the frame rate is really bad. I mean, if we pause it, no, if I don't think it was single server. I think it updates about 10-15 frames a second, and it's really difficult, which makes it really hard to play. Also, my layout could do with a little bit of work here by the looks of it. Let's shrink you down a bit. Move you around. There we go. So let's credit it up. I don't know what the controls are set to. So does the first player auto aim? I can't remember anything about this game, to be honest. Yeah, I think the first player you've got two shot types and you auto aim. The controls are quite confusing, to be honest. But player two's got the machine gun. So it's one that's really meant to be played with two players, like Looking Wild, as I said. But you drive along in your tank and you shoot things, but they say the frame rate is awful. Yeah, I think I should really just change the controls here, so that can remain as accelerate. So yeah, this seems to auto aim the gun for player one. It looks like it's got potential, and maybe it's more fun with the second player on the gun. Otherwise, you're just driving along, relying on the auto aim, trying to avoid things, and there's too much to avoid. You know, it kind of reminds me of Hot Chase, which is another one probably done by Coreland for Konami. But in this case, Coreland put their own name on it. I don't know if anybody who was going to publish this, because in some circles this is considered to be a prototype. So in fact, let's just not do it on mouse, because that's apparently more difficult. Obviously, it's a sprite scaler. It's a two-screen sprite scaler. The chat is going into the tank. Well, you know, we can go even more ridiculous if you want. There we go. Oh, I've got myself locked. That's a shame. Why am I messing up my layout? There we go. This is obviously far better, isn't it? Yes, I am now the tank. There we go. I've improved the game dramatically by becoming the tank. There we go. Maybe I should just shrink myself down a little bit here. There we go. I am now just the tank. Doesn't this make the game so much better? I've got a bomb, look. This is another one I emulated back in the day, or worked on the emulation of. I think it's mostly correctly emulated. Its problem is, it's quite a complex piece of hardware with only one game on it, so it's hard to actually say. MAME tank. Yes, Ramses, it's the MAME tank. Oh, it got blown up. It's a good job it doesn't hurt when that happens. Now the road looks very plain, but I couldn't find any greater detail graphics for use on the road. It's just like it's got a ROM that contains the road data, and this is just the lines it's choosing. You only learned about this game reading my blog. Yeah, it's not a well-known game. I don't think it was even released in the US. It might have been released in Japan. It's one ROM star I think we're going to distribute in the US, but ended up not. Or maybe like there's 1 or 2 copies of it. But from what I'm told, Coreland did release it in Japan. But again, it must be a very rare game even there. The problem is it's just not much fun. Maybe with the second player it would be fun. But otherwise I'm just driving forward, I'm shooting auto-aim on the shots. And that means that you don't really know what you're going to shoot. So you don't know what you've got to avoid, which makes it impossible to play. Which is kind of why I consider it to be a bad game. Yeah, I don't think we need to play much more of that. I have to fix my layout now. Look, I can go back in the corner. And the chat can go back there. Push start but. No, I don't wish to but the start push. There's still a lot left on this list. Let's go with the game that might be bad. At least I couldn't really get into. Hachoo by Jaleco in 1989. Sounds like somebody sneezing is my interpretation of that title. Hachoo. It's a beat 'em up type thing with really awkward slow movement. Where everybody sounds like they're saying Hachoo whenever they hit you. I don't like how slow you move, and how it's one of those where you have to let animations play out before it responds, and yeah, it's It's about ICOM. This doesn't feel like ICOM's quality. I mean, ICOM apparently did a AB cop, didn't they? And of course, Pulstar and the like. But this feels very, very rough. You can't run. You're just slowly moving around and fighting things. Nice parallax in the background, to give it that. But I don't know, is this bad or is this just average? The problem is there are far better beat 'em ups. That was good. I just jumped off the cliff. It doesn't seem to have any depth to it. I can't even seem to do flying attacks. I can just jump. Unless you learn them later. I don't seem to have a different any other attacks. I've just got this attack. I don't know if it was a floating killer ball of Yan. Apparently it's not a killer ball at all. It's probably some kind of pickup. Now maybe this game gets better, but I've never felt the urge to play it beyond the very sticky, frustrating first stage. With some things that seem too animated. Look how these are jumping around. Now for all the nice parallax we had when this was scrolling in, we've now just got a background with no parallax. It's very plain. Yeah, there's. I mean, your walk cycle seems over-animated in some senses, or at least slow, even though there aren't many frames. And then everything else doesn't seem well animated at all. This is the cliffside. I thought it was already on a cliffside. So there doesn't seem to be any jump attack or anything. So jumping is just gets you killed. You can throw things towards the camera. There you go. That's a novelty. You hold down, they go towards the camera. The only redeeming feature of the game I've found so far. Is that what they spent the whole budget on? That effect? See, I thought the syntax was quite bad, but I've never really got into it. And Legends of Makai, is it? Or is that the same game? No, Lord of the King is the syntax, as you say. I'm sort of getting bored of the same enemies already. And 2 of them at once, it doesn't seem technically that impressive either. There are quite a lot of bad Mega System 1 games. But there's no animation between them standing there and kicking me in the face. So yeah, my first impressions of this game have always been terrible, and I've never wanted to play it anymore. And again, I just want to jump kick there, and you can't. Anyway, I think this will be the last game for this stream, because like I said, this one's going to be a bit shorter. And we're on 2 hours 20 minutes now. Oh look, we've got 3 enemies and a lot of slowdown all of a sudden. So apparently the game can't cope with 3 enemies. Yeah, this is definitely sub Double Dragon. Double Dragon had more to the control scheme, more to the game. More enjoyable. That's why, you know, I decided to look at this one as a bad game. Actually, I will do one last game for about 5 minutes at most. Because it is true, you can't have a bad game stream. Or a 2 bad game stream. Without covering something developed by Kyle Hodgetts, can you? 1988 Alpha 1 conversion of Mooncrester. Yeah, unfortunately the Bombs Away set we have is clearly incomplete or somehow a bad ROMs on it. But the other prototype videos I've seen for the game also seem to have issues, like the level data's corrupt or doesn't match the prototype version. And it's like it's almost like there was some issue with development where things ended up bit rotten, because it looks like bit rot in the ROMs and they failed the ROM test. But apparently it's been seen on more than one board with exactly the same ROMs, so maybe there were some technical issues. Now this is a shooter where you always have to go to the top to collect the power-ups. They don't appear anywhere else. You always have to get them at the top, and the collision on them is really awkward. Other than that, you're just shooting everything. And you can charge up your lasers, but you can do your super shot. Unfortunately, there's very little to the game. If you miss any of these power-ups, you don't get a proper bonus at some point. I can't remember. I don't know why they keep saying go over and over. It's just like the enemy's attack sound and the power-up, which doesn't seem to do much. This is like, oh, we know how to put some sort of shooting mechanics in a game, but we don't know how to make a game. Just put random waves of enemies against you and power-ups. And a collectible you have to collect all the time with bad collision at the top of the screen to keep you going to the top of the screen all the time. Because that's what you have to do. You have to keep going to the top of the screen to get these pulls. Otherwise you don't get your proper bonus. And if the collision's so bad you miss them sometimes anyway. And then we get this flying alien thing. I mean, it's a Kyle Hodgetts game for sure. not even his worst game, but it's still a bad game. Yeah, it's mindless. Throw everything into the mix, nothing sticks. And if you converted your Moon Patrol to this, you're probably going to have converted it back again. Did I say Moon Cresta earlier too? I meant Moon Patrol. You could use the power shot a bit more. Feels like they played R-Type for the power-up shot, but it's obviously just done really badly. Extended play. Okay. I really wanted extended play. Is that like we feel sorry for you, have a bonus life? And this is one I fixed the emulation of some years ago. And don't feel it was especially rewarding to do so. Apparently extended play doesn't last forever and you still get game over. What? I don't wish to... Well, let's give this one more go. Because say the stream will be ending very soon. This is just a bonus game because I realised I really have to put a Carl Hodgetts game on. There will be another bad game stream. It might be this month, it might not be. Because I do want to do some other theme streams. I want to do pirate games and pirate games. As in bootleg games and games with pirates. I also want to do a stream of badly emulated games, you know, ones which sort of are playable but have emulation glitches that really get in the way, or like, you know, serious things missing like no sound, or issues people might not be so aware of, like they just crash. Yeah, this is you're number 4, are you, Bob? You played this before then. Did you actually develop this? Oh yeah, you are number 4, Bob. How did you get 200,000 points? Kyle still beat you though. Look, Kyle's at the top with 500,000 points. There is an Amiga version of this. Is it any better? I never heard of it, but why? I have more questions now than I had before. I didn't realise there was an Amiga version of it. You learn something every day, but yeah. I think this is where this stream ends. It's a little bit shorter than the other ones, but you know, I did say at the start I want to watch some of my friends' stream that they're doing at the moment. So they're already about half an hour in, so I'm gonna stop the stream and jump over there fairly quickly. But I will say, you know, thank you to everybody who has been in the chat. Thank you to, you know, it's been enjoyable seeing you all having nice conversations as well. I may have missed a few messages again, as I typically do. I'd also like to once again say thank you to Stephen Coomber for the you know, the £25 donation off stream to PayPal. And again, if people want to send to PayPal, they can just mention you like the email address instead, and it's, you know, then YouTube aren't taking their cut. But it's up to you. I mean, I'm not saying anybody should donate, but if people do want to, they always can. And you know, buy drinks and things like that for the stream, and occasionally buy some plug and play devices and the like. I mean, I just found a karaoke cartridge that was missing from the ones we picked up, and got Klaus Team York to pick that up. So, you know, we now have a complete set of the known ones for the easy karaoke thing, even though that's not emulated yet. So anyway, all right. No final lap today, Cow. No, I did final lap R last time, and I've not managed to fix any bugs in it. And I think the bug in final lap R is probably a CPU bug, because the trees and the roadside objects don't seem to be in the display list at all. So I'm not sure what's going on there. It feels like the CPUs may be clipping them out of the display list before they even get put there. Although, interestingly, all the objects that are missing are flipped, but the draw code can handle flipped cases. So I think maybe the CPU code is not putting them in the list if they're flipped because it thinks they're clipped out, or I really don't know. Anyway, good night, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one, which might either be the bootleg game stream or the pirate game stream. We'll see. I don't know yet. Take care, and good night.